Hey, fellow warrior. Imagine waking up tomorrow with absolute mastery over every word you utter, every emotion you experience, every dollar you spend, and every thought that drifts through your consciousness. It sounds like an impossible dream, doesn't it? Yet, over 2 millennia ago, a man emerged who didn't just believe this was attainable. He believed it was the singular path to a truly liberated existence. His name was Epictetus, and he was born into slavery. Let that profound truth resonate within you. He possessed no command over his physical being, no freedom of movement, no say in his circumstances. He was the property of another. Still, this extraordinary individual unearthed a truth so potent, it transformed him from a physical captive into one of history's most compelling educators on mental and emotional liberation. He taught, no one can hurt you without your permission. At first, this might strike you as a harsh sentiment, especially if you're navigating genuine suffering. But his profound meaning was this: while we cannot always dictate what befalls, we absolutely control our reaction. And within that controlled response lies our inherent strength. Many of us today aren't physically enslaved, but a great number find themselves shackled by their own unrestrained words, impulsive emotions, unmanaged spending habits, and chaotic thoughts. We blurt out things we swiftly regret. We allow fleeting moods to sabotage entire days. We squander money we don't possess on things we don't genuinely need. And we permit our minds to descend into spirals of fear, doubt, and incessant worry. But what if I told you that the very same ancient wisdom that set a Roman slave free could also liberate you? What if the very aspects of your life you feel most powerless over, your mouth, your mood, your money, and your mind, could, in fact, become your most formidable assets? The ancient Stoics grasped a fundamental truth that many of us have forgotten. True prosperity isn't tallied in currency. It's measured in the extent of your self-command. True influence isn't about governing others. It's about mastering yourself. And genuine freedom isn't an endless array of options. It's about consistently making the right choices, day in and day out. Life continually presents you with opportunities to hone this practice. Someone rudely cuts you off in traffic? That's your immediate chance to exercise control over your words and your emotional state. You feel an urge to purchase something unnecessary? That's your decisive moment to assert authority over your finances. Your mind begins to spiral with apprehension or uncertainty? That's your golden opportunity to reclaim sovereignty over your thoughts. The profound beauty of Stoic wisdom is its gentle understanding that perfection isn't the expectation. Even Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the Roman Empire, grappled with these very same internal battles. In his personal meditations, he reminded himself daily, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This philosophy isn't about becoming devoid of emotion. It's about becoming so deeply anchored in your authentic self that external chaos cannot dislodge you. When you assert control over your mouth, you communicate with thoughtful intention, not reckless impulse. When you master your mood, you consciously choose your emotional state instead of passively succumbing to it. When you skillfully manage your money, it transforms into a tool for peace rather than a perpetual source of stress. And when you become the commander of your mind, you evolve into the author of your thoughts rather than their perpetual prisoner. In the upcoming minutes, you are going to gain profound insights into these 4 foundational pillars of personal power. We will delve into timeless wisdom that is arguably more vital today than ever before, and you will leave equipped with practical, actionable tools that you can begin applying immediately. But here's the crucial understanding. This transformation only materializes if you commit to the journey. Each subsequent section builds logically upon the previous one, so resist the urge to skip ahead. Stay with me through every single part, And I genuinely promise you, this wisdom has the potential to profoundly reshape your life. If you're truly ready to seize back control, I urge you to hit that like button right now. Drop a comment below, sharing which of the form is mouth, mood, money, or mind presents the greatest challenge for you. And critically, ensure you're subscribed to Stoic Alchemist, because this profound journey to self-mastery is only just beginning. Please share this video with someone you believe truly needs to hear this message, because true empowerment starts from within you. And as a final act of commitment, in the comments, declare this affirmation: I am the master of my mouth, mood, money, and mind. 1. Master your mouth, the gateway to wisdom there. As an ancient adage that rings profoundly true, the tongue is a minuscule thing, yet it possesses an immense capacity for damage. But here's what most people fail to grasp. Your mouth isn't solely about the harm it can inflict upon others. Every single word you utter is either actively constructing or subtly dismantling the person you are incrementally becoming. Seneca, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers of Rome, dedicated years to meticulously observing the profound power of speech within the dynamic Roman Senate. He witnessed firsthand how entire careers were meticulously built or utterly destroyed by mere sentences. He observed friendships being irrevocably shattered by careless, unthinking words, and powerful alliances being forged through deliberate, thoughtful communication. Yet his most profound personal revelation came from introspectively observing his own patterns of speech. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end, Seneca wisely penned. Nowhere is this truth more starkly evident than with our words. Each time you speak, you are, in essence, concluding one version of yourself and initiating the emergence of another. The critical question then becomes, are you becoming someone you genuinely respect and admire? Consider for a moment the last occasion you uttered something in a fit of anger that you instantly regretted. In that precise moment, you viscerally felt the overwhelming force of uncontrolled speech. Your words had escaped, a torrent unleashed, before your inherent wisdom had the chance to intervene and restrain them. Now, imagine if you could reclaim that immense power. What if every single word you spoke was a deliberate choice, rather than a mere spontaneous release? The Stoics cultivated a deceptively simple, yet profoundly effective practice: the pause. Before articulating a single word, particularly in emotionally charged situations, they would deliberately halt and internally pose 3 crucial questions. Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it kind? If the answer to any of these questions was a resounding no, they would consciously choose to remain silent. However, mastering your mouth isn't merely about the restraint of negative words. It's equally, if not more, about the intentional and purposeful deployment of positive ones. When you offer a genuine compliment to someone, you're not just brightening their day. You are actively training your own mind to perceive and appreciate the good inherent in the world around you. When you utter words of encouragement, you are subtly programming your own psyche to seek out possibilities and solutions, rather than being fixated on problems. Marcus Aurelius, in his personal reflections, famously wrote, "Be like the rocky headland on which the waves constantly break. It stands firm and rounded, the seething waters are laid to rest." Your controlled and measured speech can serve as that unwavering headland for others in your life. In a world saturated with reactive, impulsive communication, your thoughtfully chosen words become a profound source of calm, stability, and enduring strength. Here is a practical exercise that I guarantee will begin to transform your relationships immediately. For the next 7 days, before you speak in any emotionally charged situation, consciously take 3 deep, deliberate breaths. With the first breath, sincerely ask yourself, what am I truly feeling in this moment? With the second breath, consider, What might the other person genuinely be feeling or experiencing? With the third breath, ask, what words would truly serve the highest good of everyone involved in this interaction? The truly remarkable aspect of mastering your mouth is the powerful feedback loop it initiates. When you speak with clear intention and thoughtful deliberation, people naturally respond to you in a profoundly different way. They listen more attentively, they trust you more deeply, and they will seek your valuable counsel more frequently. This isn't manipulation. It's the natural and inevitable consequence of gradually becoming someone truly worth listening to. But perhaps the most profound and far-reaching impact of mouth mastery is how it fundamentally reshapes your relationship with yourself. Every single time you honor a promise you made verbally, you are incrementally building self-trust, brick by brick. Every time you consciously choose to speak kindly about yourself, you are actively re-sculpting your self-image into one of greater confidence and self-acceptance. Every time you steadfastly refuse to engage in gossip or mindless complaining, you are consciously choosing to direct your precious mental energy toward what is genuinely within your sphere of control. Remember this crucial truth. Your words don't merely communicate your existing thoughts. They actively mold and shape them. When you consistently speak words steeped in possibility, heartfelt gratitude, and profound wisdom, your mind naturally begins to think in those constructive patterns automatically. You genuinely become what you repeatedly articulate. The mouth serves as the vital gateway between your intricate inner world and the expansive outer world. Master this pivotal gateway, and you will inevitably master the flow of energy in both directions. Tomorrow, we will delve into how this same transformative principle applies to your complex emotional world. Affirm this powerful truth below, and let it serve as your unwavering daily reminder. I speak with power, not impulse. 2. Master your mood. The inner weather system. Imagine, for a moment, waking up every single morning and having someone else dictate what the emotional climate inside your mind would be. Some days they arbitrarily choose stormy anger, other days a dense, suffocating sadness, and only occasionally, if you were exceptionally fortunate, they might select sunny, expansive happiness. This scenario, bizarre as it sounds, is precisely how the vast majority of people navigate their emotional lives, living entirely at the whim and mercy of external circumstances and fleeting stimuli. But here's the game-changing insight that profoundly altered everything for me, and what the Stoics remarkably uncovered over 2 millennia ago. You are not a helpless victim of your emotions. You are, in fact, their ultimate creator. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and a pioneering psychologist, endured years within the horrific confines of Nazi concentration camps. In the most unimaginable and dehumanizing circumstances, he made a staggering discovery that profoundly echoes ancient Stoic wisdom. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Pause for a moment and truly contemplate that space right now. As you absorb these words, that vital space exists within you, precisely between every single external trigger and your subsequent emotional response. There is a sliver of time, sometimes just a fleeting split second, where you possess absolute, unbridled power to choose. The Stoics referred to this profound ability as the discipline of desire. It's not about stifling your desires or wanting less in life. Rather, it's about cultivating a deep appreciation for what you already possess, accepting with equanimity what lies beyond your control, while simultaneously working diligently and consistently on what you can influence. When you master this critical distinction, your mood transforms into a finely tuned instrument that you can skillfully play, rather than remaining a wild, uncontrollable storm that incessantly plays you. Here's a truth that might genuinely shock. You Your emotions are not inherent facts. They are, at their core, interpretations. When someone doesn't immediately text you back, the objective situation itself is neutral. It is your mind that constructs the narrative, the story, that they are intentionally ignoring you, that they are angry with you, or that they simply don't care about you. But what if you consciously chose to construct a different narrative? What if they are simply occupied, their phone battery died, or perhaps they are meticulously planning a delightful surprise for you? Marcus Aurelius consistently practiced this mental discipline every single day. He penned, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Each morning, he would consciously remind himself that the day ahead would undoubtedly present challenges, interactions with difficult individuals, and unexpected events. But instead of approaching these with dread, he viewed them as invaluable opportunities to practice and refine his emotional mastery. Try this incredibly powerful exercise right now. Bring to mind something that has been persistently bothering or troubling you lately. Now, ask yourself, what specific story am I consistently telling myself about this situation? Then, with an open mind, ask, what is an alternative way I could genuinely interpret this same situation? And finally, and most crucially, which interpretation truly serves my highest good and fosters my growth? The true magic of this practice unfolds when you realize that you have been the sole author of your emotional experience all along. You simply weren't consciously aware that you were the one writing the story. However, mood mastery is emphatically not about superficial toxic positivity or rigidly pretending that everything is perfectly fine when it isn't. It is about deliberately choosing responses that genuinely empower you, rather than those that inexorably drain your vital energy. When you experience anger, instead of either suppressing it destructively or allowing it to explode impulsively, you can consciously choose to harness it as potent fuel for constructive, positive change. When you feel sadness, instead of passively drowning in its depths, you can allow it to connect you more deeply to your shared humanity and cultivate profound compassion for others. The Stoics held a beautiful and highly beneficial practice known as evening reflection. Each night, they would meticulously review their day and pose a series of insightful questions. What emotions did I experience today? Which of these emotions truly served my purpose and well-being? Which ones, unfortunately, gained control over me? How can I respond with greater wisdom and efficacy tomorrow? Here is what will invariably begin to happen when you commit to practicing mood mastery. You will cease to be afraid of your own emotions, because you will inherently know and trust that you possess the inner capacity to handle them with grace. You will stop reflexively avoiding challenging or difficult situations, because you will cultivate an unshakable trust in your ability to navigate them with emotional intelligence. You will naturally become the unwavering calm center amidst other people's storms, a quality that makes you immeasurably valuable in all your relationships and professional endeavors. Remember this fundamental truth. Every emotion you feel is valuable information, not an unyielding instruction. Anger informs you that something significant truly matters to you. Fear tells you to pay close attention and exercise caution. Sadness communicates that you have experienced the loss of something valuable. But none of these powerful emotions have the ultimate authority to make your decisions for you. Your mood is your unique inner weather system. And just like a highly skilled meteorologist, you can learn to accurately predict, diligently prepare for, and even significantly influence the emotional climate within your own mind. Type this powerful declaration below if you are genuinely ready to seize full control of your emotional world. I control my emotions. They don't control me. 3. Master your money. The tool of freedom money, in a profound sense, reveals your true character more intimately than almost anything else in life. It's not merely a medium of exchange. It's a tangible manifestation of crystallized energy, time, and the sum of your choices. How you choose to handle it profoundly determines whether you live as a truly free individual or as a slave to your own fleeting desires. Seneca, despite being one of the wealthiest men in all of Rome, penned a timeless observation. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor. This wasn't merely abstract philosophical theory for him. He lived this truth daily. Despite his immense personal fortune, he regularly engaged in the practice of voluntary discomfort, intentionally choosing to sleep on the hard floor and consume simple, unadorned meals. This rigorous practice served as a constant, potent reminder to himself that his profound happiness was never contingent upon luxury or excess. Here's a raw, unvarnished truth that most people instinctively shy away from hearing. If you cannot exert control over your spending habits, you fundamentally cannot exert control over your life. Every single purchase you make is either actively propelling you toward greater freedom or subtly pulling you deeper into a state of financial servitude. There is, in essence, no neutral territory in this domain. However, money mastery is emphatically not about being miserly or ruthlessly depriving yourself of genuine joy and experiences. It is, at its core, about meticulously aligning your spending with your deepest values and consciously utilizing money as a powerful tool, rather than passively allowing it to wield control over you. When you acquire something because you are feeling sad, bored, or desperately trying to impress others, money is, in effect, using you. But when you acquire something because it genuinely adds tangible value to your life or empowers you to serve others more effectively, you are, in that moment, using money as a strategic instrument. The Stoics practiced a concept they termed preferred indifference. These are things that are generally beneficial to possess, but do not, by their very nature, determine your inherent worth or your ultimate happiness. Money falls squarely into this category. It is undeniably preferable to possess money than to lack it, but it should never, under any circumstances, ascend to the position of your master. Reflect for a moment on your last impulse purchase. You know, that item you bought on a whim that is likely now sitting unused and forgotten somewhere in your home. In that precise moment of acquisition, what were you authentically trying to purchase? Was it truly the item itself, or were you, perhaps subconsciously, attempting to acquire a feeling, a sense of status, comfort, excitement, or acceptance? Here is a profoundly effective practice that will revolutionize your entire relationship with money. A principle I often discuss on Stoic Alchemist. Before making any non-essential purchase, take a deliberate pause and ask yourself this critical question. What am I truly attempting to buy here? If your honest answer is a feeling or an experience, then make it your initial mission to find a way to cultivate that feeling or experience without immediately resorting to spending money. More often than not, you will astonishingly discover that you didn't actually need the purchase at all. But genuine money mastery transcends mere control over spending. It is fundamentally about the conscious act of generating value. The Stoics fervently believed in contributing actively to the common good. When you wholeheartedly focus on serving others through your work and endeavors, money naturally becomes a fortunate byproduct rather than the singular overriding goal. This profound shift in perspective fundamentally alters everything about how you earn and how you spend. Marcus Aurelius penned in his journal, "In the morning, when you rise unwillingly, let this thought be present. I am rising to the work of a human being." When you perceive your work as a profound act of service, rather than merely a means to accumulate wealth, you infuse it with a level of excellence that inevitably leads to greater financial rewards. Here's what fundamentally transformed my entire financial life, a journey I often share insights about on Stoic Alchemist. I began meticulously tracking not just where my money was going, but crucially, how I felt after each purchase. I devised a simple system with 3 columns: purchase, reason, and feeling after. What I uncovered through this simple practice was nothing short of astonishing. The purchases that consistently yielded lasting satisfaction were invariably those that were deeply aligned with my core values. Books that expanded my mind, shared experiences with cherished loved ones, or essential tools that genuinely helped me to serve others more effectively. Conversely, the impulse buys, the status purchases, the emotionally driven spending, these consistently left me feeling an unsettling sense of emptiness or profound regret. This seemingly simple practice provided me with a level of clarity regarding my spending patterns that no budget application ever could. Money mastery also necessitates a crystal clear understanding of the crucial distinction between assets and liabilities. Every dollar you spend should ideally either actively maintain your capacity to earn more or progressively increase your capacity to serve others. When you begin to cultivate this mindset, you will naturally commence the process of building lasting wealth instead of merely consuming it. Remember, the ultimate objective isn't to meticulously hoard money for its own sake. It is to cultivate sufficient financial freedom to be genuinely generous, to confidently undertake well-calculated risks, and to consistently make decisions rooted in what is truly right and virtuous, rather than being perpetually constrained by what you can barely afford. 4. Master your mind. The command center your mind, in its essence, is akin to a fertile garden. Every single thought you permit to take root and linger within, it is a seed you are actively planting. The critical question then becomes, what kind of harvest are you truly aspiring to reap? Right now, as you absorb these words, countless thoughts are relentlessly vying for your precious attention. Anxieties about tomorrow, lingering regrets from yesterday, subtle judgments about the information you are receiving, and meticulous plans for the hours ahead today. The vast majority of people traverse their entire lives as passive observers of this ceaseless mental chaos, never truly realizing the immense power they possess to consciously choose which thoughts genuinely merit their valuable energy. Epictetus profoundly taught his students that wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. But he wasn't speaking solely of material wealth. He was speaking of a far more profound mental wealth. When you cease to entertain every fleeting thought that knocks upon the door of your consciousness, you become extraordinarily rich in inner peace and laser-like focus. Consider this striking parallel. You would never deliberately permit strangers to freely wander into your home and arbitrarily rearrange your furniture, would you? Yet, with alarming frequency, we permit random, uninvited thoughts to stroll into our minds and completely disarray our entire emotional state. A single negative thought, if granted permission to stay, possesses the potent capacity to derail your entire day. The Stoics developed a powerful practice known as prososche, a continuous, vigilant attention to the present moment and a relentless monitoring of your internal thoughts. It's not meditation in the contemporary sense. It's more akin to being a highly discerning security guard for your own mind, meticulously deciding which thoughts are granted access and which are firmly turned away at the gate. Here is a practical exercise that I assure you will immediately begin to transform your daily life. For the entirety of the next week, every single time you catch yourself spiraling into a negative thought pattern, pause. Then, consciously ask yourself, is this specific thought genuinely helping me, or is it actively hurting me? Is it moving me closer to the person I aspire to become, or is it pulling me further away? If your honest assessment reveals that the thought is not serving your highest good, then consciously choose to replace it with a thought that does. However, mind mastery is not about forced, saccharine positivity or feigning that problems don't exist. It is about the deliberate choice of productive thoughts over destructive ones. Instead of thinking, "This is absolutely terrible," and there's nothing I can possibly do. You consciously choose to think, this situation is undoubtedly challenging, and I need to diligently find the most effective way forward. Same external situation, yet a profoundly different internal mental experience. Marcus Aurelius, in his personal journal, reflected, the universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. He intuitively understood that while he possessed no control over the Roman Empire's formidable enemies, the pervasive political intrigue, or even the inevitability of his own mortality, he wielded absolute sovereignty over his personal mental kingdom. Your mind is a relentless storyteller, constantly fabricating narratives about what various events truly mean. Someone neglects to smile at you, and your mind instantly crafts a narrative of rejection. Traffic becomes heavy, and your mind conjures a story about being late and everything inevitably going wrong. Your boss requests to see you, and your mind immediately creates a narrative of impending trouble. But here lies your immense power. You possess the ability to rewrite these narratives in real time. That person who didn't smile might simply be grappling with their own personal struggles. Heavy traffic can be a golden opportunity to cultivate patience or to listen to something enriching and educational. Your boss wanting to see you might, in fact, be the bearer of exceptionally good news. The ancient Stoics embraced a concept called the discipline of judgment, the rigorous practice of meticulously separating objective facts from the subjective stories we incessantly tell ourselves about those facts. A fact is, it's raining. A story is, this rain is absolutely ruining my entire day. When you master this critical distinction, you become incredibly powerful because your emotional state ceases to be dictated and controlled by external circumstances. Try this right now. Bring to mind something that has been persistently causing you stress lately. Now, with a discerning eye, separate the actual, unadorned facts from the elaborate story you are narrating to yourself about those facts. You will be utterly astonished at how much of your stress emanates directly from the story, and not from the objective facts themselves. Your mind is also an exceptionally potent problem-solving mechanism when you direct it with precision. Instead of permitting it to run wild with undirected worry, furnish it with specific, clearly defined problems to solve. Instead of asking, what if everything goes horribly wrong? Ask instead, what is the most effective and intelligent way to navigate this particular situation? Your mind thrives on challenges, but it desperately requires clear, unambiguous direction from you. Remember, every single thought you entertain is either actively constructing the person you are incrementally becoming, or systematically tearing that person down. You are, quite literally, thinking yourself into existence every single moment of every single day. Comment below, I'm the architect of my mind, to firmly claim your power. 5. The ripple effect. How mastery transforms everything. Here is something truly beautiful that begins to unfold when you consciously embark on the journey of mastering these 4 crucial areas. They don't simply change in isolation. Instead, they create a magnificent ripple effect that profoundly transforms your entire life experience. It's analogous to meticulously tuning a musical instrument. When one string is perfectly pitched, it resonates harmoniously, making all the other strings sound exponentially better. When you master your mouth, people instinctively begin to seek your counsel, drawn by the weight and wisdom that your words now carry. When you master your mood, you naturally become the unwavering calm center that others instinctively gravitate toward in moments of chaos and uncertainty. When you master your money, you acquire the liberating freedom to make decisions rooted in your deepest values, rather than being perpetually driven by mere survival. And when you master your mind, you possess the keen ability to discern opportunities where others perceive only insurmountable problems. But the true, profound magic unfolds in the intricate spaces between these 4 pillars. Allow me to share The story of Sarah, a dedicated single mother who attended one of my workshops at Stoic Alchemist last year. She arrived feeling utterly overwhelmed, grappling with significant debt, constantly snapping at her children, plagued by debilitating worries about the future, and caught in a relentless cycle of negative thought patterns that stole her precious sleep. 6 months later, Sarah sent me a message that brought tears to my eyes. By diligently applying these very principles, she had not only successfully paid off all her credit cards, but had also courageously launched a small side business. Her relationship with her children had undergone a complete and beautiful transformation, a direct result of her learning to communicate from a place of love rather than frustration. But most importantly, she conveyed that she finally felt like herself again, calm, confident, and deeply in control of her life. The exquisite beauty of Stoic wisdom lies in its capacity to initiate what psychologists refer to as an upward spiral. Each small, hard-won victory in one area instills within you the burgeoning confidence and impetus to bravely tackle challenges in another. When you successfully manage to control your words in a heated, contentious moment, you unequivocally prove to yourself that you possess the inherent capacity to also control your emotions. When you steadfastly resist an impulse purchase, you are simultaneously strengthening the very same mental muscle that empowers you to resist and reframe negative, intrusive thoughts. Aristotle famously declared, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. The Stoics elevated this truth further. They intuitively understood that mastery in these 4 foundational areas creates a powerful compound effect. Each day you dedicate to practice doesn't merely enhance that particular day. It systematically makes every future day inherently easier and more profoundly impactful. Think for a moment about the person you were 6 months ago. What specific struggles were you grappling with back then? Now, daringly imagine the person you could authentically become 6 months from today if you consistently and diligently applied these transformative principles. The perceived chasm between who you are currently and who you are capable of becoming is not as vast as you might imagine. It is merely a continuous series of small, conscious daily choices. Here's what I truly want you to grasp. You are not obligated to achieve perfection in all 4 areas simultaneously. In fact, attempting to do so often leads to profound frustration and ultimately surrender. Instead, make a conscious decision to select just one area that resonates most deeply with you right now and commit to focusing intensely on that single area for the next 30 days. Allow the nascent mastery you cultivate in that chosen area to naturally and organically influence the others. The Stoics cherished a concept known as sympathia, the beautiful, intricate interconnectedness of all things. Your diligent inner work doesn't solely benefit you. It profoundly benefits everyone within your sphere of influence. When you become more measured and controlled in your speech, you actively diminish conflict and foster harmony in your relationships. When you manage your emotions with greater wisdom, you cultivate a more peaceful and stable environment for your cherished family. When you handle your finances with deliberate prudence, you serve as a powerful model of financial responsibility for your children and those around you. When you direct your thoughts constructively, you naturally evolve into a source of innovative solutions rather than a generator of problems. But perhaps the most profound ripple effect is how mastery fundamentally alters your relationship with difficulty itself. Instead of perceiving challenges as arbitrary misfortunes that simply happen to you, you begin to consciously see them as invaluable opportunities to actively practice and deepen your mastery. Every challenging conversation transforms into a chance to refine your mouth control. Every stressful situation becomes an immediate opportunity for profound mood mastery. Every financial decision becomes a practical exercise in cultivating money wisdom. Every fleeting worry morphs into a chance to purposefully redirect your vital mental energy. This profound shift in perspective, from passive victim to active practitioner, fundamentally transforms every aspect of how you experience life. Comment below if you are truly ready to transmute every challenge into an unwavering source of strength. Every challenge is my chance to grow stronger. We began this transformative journey with Epictetus, a man who remarkably transcended his status from a physical slave to a revered spiritual teacher. His profound secret wasn't about miraculously altering his external circumstances. It was, rather, about mastering himself within those very circumstances. Today, you stand at the precipice of the same powerful choice Epictetus made over 2 millennia ago. You now possess the deep understanding that true freedom isn't merely about having an unlimited array of choices. It is unequivocally about consistently making the right choices. You've learned that your mouth, your mood, your money, and your mind are not disparate areas of your life. They are intricately interconnected pillars that either robustly support your personal growth or subtly undermine it. But here's the most crucial takeaway I want you to remember. This journey isn't about striving for an unattainable perfection. It is, instead, about wholeheartedly embracing intentionality. Every single time you pause deliberately before speaking, you are actively practicing mouth mastery. Every single time you consciously choose your response to a challenging emotion, you are diligently developing mood mastery. Every single time you meticulously align your spending with your core values, you are incrementally building money wisdom. Every single time you purposefully redirect a negative thought, you are powerfully strengthening your mental sovereignty. The ancient Stoics confronted relentless wars, devastating plagues, tumultuous political upheaval, and profound personal tragedies. Their lives were far from easy, but they possessed something infinitely superior, an unshakable inner strength that emanated directly from mastering these 4 fundamental areas of human existence. That same profound strength is unequivocally available to you right now. Your personal transformation commences with a singular, decisive choice: the decision to take unwavering responsibility for your inner world. Not because life is inherently fair. It most certainly is not. Not because it will be easy. It undoubtedly will present challenges. But precisely because you intrinsically deserve to live as the master of your own experience, rather than remaining a perpetual victim of external circumstances. 6 months from now, you will either remain the same person, grappling with the same persistent struggles, or you will have evolved into someone who has learned to navigate life's complexities with profound wisdom, unwavering intention, and unshakable inner strength. The choice, unequivocally, is entirely yours, and the opportune moment to make it is right now. Remember Epictetus's timeless words: "No one can hurt you without your permission." Today, you actively withdraw that permission. Today, you embark upon the profound journey from passive reaction to deliberate response, from pervasive chaos to absolute control, from the chains of slavery to the boundless expanse of freedom. The 4 magnificent pillars of mastery patiently await you. Your future self is earnestly counting on your commitment. And somewhere in the eternal realm of ideas, the ancient Stoics are cheering you on, celebrating your courage. Take that pivotal first step. Start today. Start now. If this message resonated deeply within you, I urge you to smash that like button. Share this invaluable wisdom with someone you know who genuinely needs to hear it. Drop your personal commitment in the comments section below, and ensure you're subscribed to Stoic Alchemist for more life-changing insights. Your journey to mastery begins now. Finally, drop this ultimate affirmation in the comments. Today, I choose mastery over mediocrity, intention over reaction, and freedom over slavery to circumstances.